Jaden Mercedes here with Chic Critiques in Atlanta. You were probably what 13 or so when Kaepernick kneeled, probably. But what do you remember from that time of him kneeling, and what did you, when this came across your lap to do, what was going through your mind?
I was kind of confused. I was like, he's kneeling. That's really respectful. Like, man, he could be like running up and down the field, but no, he's kneeling and he's giving respect to people. I remember being really interested in the topic and even watching a few of his interviews. And I remember becoming even more bewildered, realizing that Colin had actually sat out the first couple of times. And then he was approached by a veteran um, who didn't completely agree with Colin. And the veteran told him, I find it disrespectful that, you're stomping on my people, everyone in the military. And Colin's response was, that is the opposite of what I want to do. I have friends in the military, family in the military. The last thing I want to do is disrespect you guys and the people who've given their lives for the country. But I still want to get my point across. How can I do that while still giving you guys my respect? And the veteran told him to kneel. That's what we do for fallen soldiers. We kneel. And so Colin chose to kneel because of that. And to me, I remember even at 13 being like, what's the problem? Where he's trying to fight for something bigger than himself. He's trying to be someone to shape change in this country, something that we've been talking about for 100, 200, 300 years. And we're withholding it because we don't like the method he's doing it in. To me, that was just confusing. But I think even then I wasn't completely aware of all of the social issues that surrounded what Colin was doing, but I still respected him for the because I acknowledged that it took bravery to do something like that.
Thank you. And kind of on the heels of that, because you do have such a budding career, and this role, when it comes through, you're portraying a man who literally shook the world, and made people, there was a line in the sand, you had to pick a side, and made people, quite frankly, a little angry, some people. So with that all in mind, what made you choose this role? And was there any reluctancy to say, wait a minute, maybe, was there anybody in your camp that said, wait a minute, we might not want to do this?
I have an anecdote to sort of answer that question. I had I was at a very white social gathering. I was at a wedding. And no one who was invited to the wedding was of color. I was the only person of color invited to the wedding. And everyone there could care less that I was there. The show had came out like 2 weeks prior. And I remember, ironically, everyone who was part of the catering team were people of color primarily. And so I was on the line getting my food, and a few of the caterers saw me and their eyes lit up and they started tapping each other on the shoulders. And one of them screamed, she's like, "Thank you, Colin." And I don't know, for me, that was like, oh, wow, that's, I've never been recognized in that way, especially so publicly. And people started looking around like, his name's not Colin. But, it's, yeah, I think in the very beginning, when I first reeled from the fact that, okay, I have to play Colin, I was a little scared. Somewhere deep down in me, there was this fear of, this is the beginning of your career, and are you going to start it with something so controversial? I started thinking about how people I know might react to it, people who I know who might not completely agree with Colin's politics, and how they might not, how their opinions of me might change. And the more I started thinking about that, I started realizing that that's the exact reason why we need to tell the story. If I feel uncomfortable to tell the experiences and situations which I felt myself, then what does that say about my society? What does that say about the people who I'm surrounding myself with in the first place? And if there are people in this world who can't come to terms with that truth, then they need to be educated. And this is an opportunity to educate them through this medium, through film. And if they can't be educated, then that's your problem.
Thank you so much. You were phenomenal.
Thank you, Mercedes.
Thank you, Jaden.
Thank you.